Hola, it's Carpaccio with the Weekly Pele Report, and I'm over here by La Fortuna at one of Costa Rica's amazing waterfalls, and it's pretty beautiful with the moon in Taurus, and she's going into Gemini today, but she will be moving into Cancer by Friday. So we'll get a little water coming around. I'm getting a lot of water today. I don't know where I'm going to do the report, but you know, there's lots to talk about. I want to carry on so much of what was coming through last week's report, and it has a lot to do with this. Basically, today Venus is square Uranus, and I mentioned it last week. Mercury is trine Jupiter, and you know, by Monday Venus is in a trine to Chiron. Yeah, and we have these interesting aspects because Uranus and Chiron are almost exactly 30 degrees apart. So what we have is Venus squares Uranus today, trines Chiron on Monday. The Sun, okay, basically trines Chiron on Saturday. Next Tuesday, squares Uranus. Mars is in conjunct Chiron on Friday and trine Uranus, on Wednesday. So there's a very interesting relationship that I want to discuss with regard to Uranus in Taurus and Chiron in Aries. Yeah. Along with, of course, Venus is still retrograde, and she is reaching what? The exact conjunction with the Sun. Ow! I will be reading to you, all right, the Sabian symbol for 23 degrees, 17 minutes of Leo. Sun conjunct Venus on Sunday. Yeah? All right, and then she's going to continue, like I say, she's still in her retrograde phase. But Sun is trine Chiron, square Uranus, conjunct Venus, in his own sign of Leo, the lion. It's powerful. And by next Wednesday, we are going to have a new moon at 20 degrees, 28 minutes of Leo. I'll be talking about that next week. But for now, I think I just really want to find a place where it's not too freaking loud and I can look at the camera, talk to you about all this amazing stuff. All right, check it out. All right, everybody. Well, it started raining at the waterfall. So I had to come back to the hot springs here and try to finish this report. It's a little bit discombobulated. I like to get into the zone and do the beginning and the body of the Pele report at the same time, but c'est la vie. I couldn't really do it in the rain. Fortunately, it's only drizzling right now. But let's get down to the astrology. What is going on right now? It is a mixture. We want to look at this mixture of retrograde Venus in Leo, Sun in Leo, squaring Uranus in Taurus, and trining Chiron in Aries. And even Mars up in Virgo, okay, is in conjunct that Chiron and trine Uranus. So we have this blending of energy. I mean, you won't believe, you're not going to believe the freaking Sabian symbol for the Sun conjunct Venus. It is very interesting. Maybe I'll start out with that, yeah? Okay, because it's, yeah. It is basically intoxicated chickens dizzily flap their wings, trying to fly. The often negative and at times ludicrous first experience with spiritual teachings. In Near Eastern symbolism, wine, intoxication, and vineyards always refer to ecstatic experiences and to the contact with mystical or occult schools. Chickens. Here suggests that we are dealing with human beings who are at the standardized products of their culture and more or less undifferentiated specimens of a social norm. Brought accidentally or prematurely to mystical or occult experiences, they usually react to them in a highly confused and dizzy manner. What reacts in them is the ego, and the ego can never fly, i.e., experience spiritually transcendental realities in an effectual manner. Yeah? So this symbol presents to us a picture of the unsatisfactory way many people today, especially young people, approach what purports to be spiritual reality. The food may be intoxicating, consciousness expanding, but the inner openings lack depth and constructiveness, whether or not they produce what appears to be wonderful feelings. One may speak here of the danger of premature expansion of consciousness. Wow. Just think of the first time you got drunk as a teenager, maybe, at some party, or the first time you smoked some pot, or maybe the first time you did some ayahuasca, or the first, it's like, and the younger you are, the less your ego is formed and structured. And so the more you are like taken out of yourself, and you can really have amazing, wonderful feelings and heightened experiences and feel like you know everything and you're awakened and enlightened and you're a shaman now and whatever. I mean, it's just like you can get very dizzy. And this is why, the yogic practices is you have your spiritual discipline every day, every morning. You do your breath work, you do your yoga. It becomes a practice, and there's no external substances either. So I just have to kind of look at the food that he's talking about. But it's so amazing because there's a farm here where I'm staying, and I'm going to put some chickens. They got a whole flock of chickens there. It's amazing to woke up this morning and saw these chickens running around, and it was just so perfect for this. So what else is perfect? I wanted to carry through from last week to this week this kind of a theme, right, of this Venus going into the underworld, the rebel, the revolutionary. I spoke about breaking free, being unconventional, stepping out of the norm, not really following the dictates of, your childhood or your culture or even your peer group, okay? Your community of, spiritually minded soul beings or whatever, as mature or not as they are. Man, it's warm in here. Be good if I can make it through this. But here's the thing that we want to correlate with this, is that Uranus, is in Taurus. And Uranus is the process of individuation. It is the rebel. It is Prometheus who stole fire from the gods and got punished for it by Zeus. So there is this rebel energy. I'm an individual. I am unique. And Leo says, I am special. I am, I'm really something. Look over here, right? So this, Uranus, ruler of Aquarius, opposite Leo, this axis is kind of like the creative axis where we create ourselves and we individuate and we break free from the past into something new and something different. And so, that is part of the awakening. That's part of the opening of this third eye, is that, boom, at some point you have to become your own authority. You have to listen to your own heart, your own spiritual promptings, your own inner guidance, and really be that. And it's now tied into 30 degrees away from Chiron. And this has been going on for a couple of months. It's going on for a couple more months. This is probably 4 months. June, July, August, September. Okay? That whenever a planet or the moon or the nodes is aspecting Uranus, it's also making an uncomfortable aspect to Chiron. And when it's making a comfortable aspect to Chiron, it's making an uncomfortable aspect to Uranus. So there's this agitation built into the transits right now, built into, what is unfolding here on planet Earth. And what is this process of individuation? How much can you break free, revolt, rebel, step back, liberate yourself from the known, the familiar, the past, the peer groups, until you're alone? And then you can go into alienation, isolation, loneliness, depression, disconnection. So it's a fine line, okay? It's a tightrope that we're walking here between how much do I really realize my own individual unique nature and how much do I have friends and community and belong. So, last week I kind of focused on, rebel, break free. Venus is retrograde in the underworld. This is the time for it. Don't compromise yourself. Don't take off your mask and don't pretend and blah, 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 blah. But there's another side. There's another side to this. The other side is putting yourself in the other shoes. The flip side of the coin is what? I think it has so much to do with tolerance. Tolerating other people's differences. This is opening the compassionate heart of the Buddha. This is moving into the Uranian ruled Aquarius of non-attachment. It doesn't have to be my way or the highway. And no, we're not all the same. And I want you to accept me for being different. But let's give everyone else the chance. Give everyone else the benefit of the doubt, right? To also be themselves, to disagree, to be different, to step back or step out or take a break or just wow. So this is where, this week's mantra comes in. When it comes into shadow, not only are people projecting their shadows onto us, but we are projecting our shadows onto other people. And here's where it comes in. I just remembered last night that it was 20 years ago in 2003 that I was initiated into the Mankind Project. And this was a men's initiation group into really dealing with emotional awareness and to doing shadow work. And the whole thing, and meeting with the men's group every week, the I group, since then, it's been about what? Shadow work. So I'm familiar with shadow work. And one of the favorite lines, one of the favorite sayings that they have in that work, you spot it, you got it. Yeah? If someone is, doing cartwheels on the beach, or, doing some fabulous yoga pose that you can't do, out in public, on the beach or something, and you're like, oh man, how Leo, or how egotistical, or what a show off, or, that's so disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, you could get into a judgment kind of a thing. You got triggered, right? They triggered you. And so here's the spot. If you spot it, you got it. It's time to, whenever somebody pisses you off, whenever somebody triggers you, maybe they get angry. And, and you're like, oh man, they're angry, that's taboo, oh, they're eating meat, somewhere in you is a carnivore. Somewhere in you is, some anger. Somewhere in you is a show-off that you are suppressing, ignoring, denying, rejecting, fragmenting, closing off. And that's why somebody else doing it bothers you. So when we open up to our total self, we're not going to get triggered. It's like there's not going to be anything that we're afraid of displaying, of showing, of, of being. And so then whenever somebody does this, that, or the other, or this, that, or the other, or they don't trigger. So this is how Buddha comes into the stillness, comes into this non-attachment. No agenda, no goal, not trying to change, educate, modify, enlighten anybody, but also not getting, stirred, moved. So this non-attachment, this Aquarius is opposite the Leo, and that non-attachment, there's not so much passion, fire, heat, desire. The lion is about dealing with desire. So it's something to have passion, have fire, have desire, but not let it cloud. Okay, not let it make us dizzy. Dude, we don't have to be dizzy chickens. It's like it's like, okay, wow, I see this and I know this, and I just got opened up and my heart is open, but that bothers me and that bothers me and that bothers me and that bothers me. It's like, go back to start. Go back to start. So the mantra for this week, you get it? My real work while here on earth is not only to express all I am, but to allow and accept, yea, even support those others I just can't understand. Whether it is the Chinese, the vax, the Ukrainians, the woke people, the demonstrators, the Black Lives Matter, the people with tats, or the medicine people, or the this people, or the that people, or the ism, or the asm, or the, the fascism, jazzism, mazism, dazism. I mean, you know what? Can we really be all right? Yeah? Can people let me live in peace? And can I let others live in peace. That reminds me, that gives me the song for this week. Let it be. Let it be. And others will let you be. We let each other be. And we will all be one together. Come together. I mean, there was one other point, if I got a few minutes left here, that I wanted to bring up, because actually my song, it was going to be, what was it, Neil Young, How Love Can Break Your Heart. I wanted to talk about love a little bit, because we have this Sun conjunct Venus. Venus is retrograde. I'm just on part 4 of the Astrology of Relationships course. I do lots of readings for people. I meet people. I counsel people. I feel like I really have a pulse. Yes, on what people are going through my own social experience. And there's a lot of loneliness. Yeah, there's a lot of single people out there. And they're really looking for a partnership, but they have kind of a list of don'ts, like this doesn't cut it, and this doesn't make it, and this isn't gonna fly, and da 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 da, and it's so there's a real caution, a real guardedness, a real hands-off kind of thing until are you really spiritual, or are you really honest? Can I really trust you? There's like people, jumping back, jumping out, going so slow that all momentum is lost, suppressing the passion and the desire and the fire, out of fear of making another mistake. And it's like, love, this opening up of the heart. I have to look back at what I said back in June. It may even have been May. Yeah, I said, guess what? Guess what? Mars and Venus traveling through Leo, Sun Venus conjunct in Leo, and all this is going to be the summer of love. I don't know if you listen to the Paley report, you may remember me saying that. And it's been also the summer of breakups. Yeah, the summer of this is not happening, or this is not working. I can't do this anymore. It's like, this is not. And I just want to say that, love is not like romance, Hollywood movies, pleasure, comfort. Love is our evolutionary force. And it breaks open our heart. And we learn compassion through forgiveness. And we learn forgiveness through being sometimes hurt. Yeah, or hurting others and asking for forgiveness. And this whole journey, of Venus descending into the underworld is really looking into, the dark side, the shadow side, the lonely side, the despair, how things have not worked out, how things have not been peaceful, joyful, happy endings, and the Hansel and Gretel sail off, into the sunset and live happily ever after. It's just like, no, love is pushing our envelope, hitting our edge, hitting our limit. Our intimate other, our beloved, wakes us up, straightens us out, enlightens us, sometimes argues, pushes, insults, or bashes, or what, it's like, boom. Sometimes love is a boxing ring. Love is a battlefield. That's another song that we could use for this week. So I think we all know love is a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. And at the same time, it's like a needle that can also stitch it and sew it up and mend it again. Yeah? So it deals with, and the lion deals with, right? It's the lion, the woman riding the lion, is the strength card in the tarot. It's courage. The courage to risk. The courage to go into feeling an attraction, following it. Yes, I've been hurt before. Maybe I haven't forgiven, or maybe I haven't been forgiven, or maybe I've got judgments. Maybe I've been judged. Maybe I feel guilty, or I'm a victim or a predator, or blah 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 blah. And it's just like I am afraid to love again. I'm afraid to lose again. I'm afraid to hurt again. I'm afraid to be hurt again. There are so many reasons, causes, fears, underlying justifications for not going forward. In this case, I want to encourage you, be a dizzy chicken. Get yourself intoxicated a little bit. Find that, the beginner's mind, and find the beginner's heart, and come into a place of non-attachment, and you will what? Here we come back. I come full circle back to Chiron in Aries, ruled by Mars, the passionate, courageous, sexual manifester that, trusts the instinct, the animal nature, the desires and the passions, even though they've been wounded, not returned, not succeeded, didn't win, lost, didn't get what I desired in the past. That's not going to stop me from, trying again, desiring again, trusting again, opening again, loving again. This is just like, this is Venus retrograde. Redo, retry, remember, rejuvenate, reset. Just like, so hit that reset button. Right on your heart. I'm going to reset. And I'm going to come again. And I'm going to give this person a chance. We're all wounded. And everybody is wounded. And everybody makes mistakes. And some people will jump too fast. Some people will jump too slow. Some have too many boundaries. Some don't have enough boundaries. But you know what? Come on. Let's try giving each other a break. That's what this mantra is about. That's what love is about. This compassionate forgiveness, saying, all right, you're wounded, you're messed up, you made a mistake. I'm not canceling you, I'm not blocking you, I'm not signing off. I'm going to come forward with an open heart, courageously, and meet the other where they are. And not just expect them to meet me where I am, but I'm going to come off my throne, and I'm going to meet them where they are too. And maybe we'll meet in the middle, in the media, in La Costa Rica. Ow! One more time, take it for this week, baby. My real work while here on earth is not only to express all I am, but to allow and accept, yay, even support those others I just don't understand. Yeah. Maybe you will understand them if you hang with them and you give them a break and you ask them questions instead of signing off, right? Ow! Namaste. Aloha. So much love.